Welcome back to another episode of the Utah Street Banter podcast. Today we're going to get some awesome stuff. Opening day is only a week away, so we have some news about that, who's starting for the Orioles, some other baseball-related news.
We'll have your full breakdown of the World Baseball Classic that just finished up.
We're going to break down how we think the offensive side of the Orioles opening day roster will be.
And Elijah's going to break down how the pitching will look on opening day.
Welcome to the Utah Street Banter podcast.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Utah Street Banter. Like always, I'm Elisha here with you. Today I'm here with Greg, no Cody. But how you doing, Greg?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Not too bad, not too bad. You know, it's been a good couple weeks. We had the World Baseball Classic just wrapped up. Watching some real competitive baseball. It's going to be a rough few days now, waiting to get to opening day. But baseball's back soon. Very soon.
Yeah, I can't wait for it to start.
It's going to be great. And I mean, speaking of soon, opening day's next week. The Yankees, they kick it off against the Giants on the 25th. And then the next day, the 26th, is when the Orioles and everybody else gets back. But I know I am excited for competitive baseball again. The World Baseball Classic was a nice little warm-up taste to how baseball is. And finally getting the regular season going. It's going to be great.
Well, at least they're starting it in the United States this year.
Yeah.
Unlike last year.
Well, that's what, and I don't even mind them starting it out of the country. It just really sucks that you do it. Like, maybe could we get it like a Mexico City start there for opening day, so like I could watch the game, because like I was sitting there watching the 8th and 9th inning at my 8 a.m. classes because it was in Japan. So like, I'm fine when they're having games in Japan. It's just like a marquee matchup in Japan stinks because I already was staying up. Like this year, I had to do that for some of the World Baseball Classic games.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like it was the first MLB game.
Yeah.
But that's whatever. And then, I mean, speaking of the World Baseball Classic, specifically in the game of the U.S. versus DR, and I know later we're going to get into all of the World Baseball Classic, but there was one specific moment that everybody's been talking about. It was the last pitch of the game when Mason Miller threw a ball. Like, we'll be honest, that's what it was. It was a ball. And everyone was saying, well, we can't wait for ABS. I just wanted to try to get your opinion on how you think ABS is going to really roll out this season, how well you think it's going to go.
I think it's going to be a good thing. You know, I was looking at a percentage of the umpire from that Dominican Republic game, and he was like 96%, 97%.
Yeah.
It was really high. You know, they make most calls right, but it is going to be good to have, you know, because there's those tight pitches sometimes that you'd like for it to be corrected. Yeah.
When it's the second out that gets called in the second inning on that pitch, yeah, it sucks. But when it's a runner in scoring position down by 1 in the 9th inning, it really sucks.
Exactly.
It's just, and this is what I've been saying about umpires for a while, is that they're better than they ever have been. Mm-hmm. And it's unfortunate because they're getting better. I don't know if that's because they're under such a microscope now, or it's just technology's getting better for them to analyze how they're playing. They're starting to try to keep themselves more up with the game and stuff. It's not as much 85-year-old umpires. And it is good that they're getting better. It's just because of the update in technology, it's not been quick enough and good enough.
Well, it's probably as hard to umpire today than it's ever been. You have pitchers throwing consistently 98, 99, 100 miles an hour. You have pitches that are breaking a lot more than they used to. I mean, you have the sliders, the sweepers. I mean, pitches are moving left, right, up, down. It's hard to be accurate with the run. I mean, Paul Skeens the other night, his run on his fastball was crazy.
Yeah.
It's hard to umpire that.
Oh, absolutely. I know I've umpired a few like minor league, little league games, and I'm going to be honest, it's hard enough just doing that. And they're throwing 45 miles an hour.
Exactly.
Like it's a ridiculously hard job. And I feel like everyone likes to hate on umpires. And I mean, I'm not going to lie. when they're bad, I'm going to hate on them
Oh,
too. I'm not trying to excuse
exactly.
them, but it's just I feel like we don't give them their flowers enough when they're doing good, and I just think ABS is going to really help that, and it does make sense because we're at the point that you can challenge just about every call on a baseball game. So why not be able to call the balls and strikes? Why not be able to?
Well, if we didn't have the box on the screen in the game the other day,
Definitely, yeah.
are you saying that's a ball? It come in at his knees. I mean, yeah, it broke below there.
All the social media experts are saying it's ball 30 minutes later, not right after the game. You have the ball. You have the buffer of people actually going back to look at it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, so we've been doing that for years.
Yeah.
This is the next step.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
No, I definitely agree. And I know, talking about opening day just a few minutes ago, the Orioles announced this past week that Trevor Rogers is going to be starting on opening day. I won't say shocked, but I was a little surprised. I really thought it was going to be a coin toss between him and Bradish who would get the nod.
Bradish is going to be on an innings count. I just think it makes sense for Rogers, who pitched last year and was lights out the second half of the season. He's earned it. But with Bradish being, I think, on a pitch count, I think it's really, really they're going to watch him closely. And maybe second half of the season he gets a little bit more to go, but early on, I think the Orioles are really going to watch how much they use him.
Yeah, no, I definitely think so. We're going to get into later going over some the pitching lineups, the pitching staff and stuff, and how things are going to shape out. I know I'm the one that went over that, and I'll explain my thought process through some of that. But I definitely agree with limited innings for some of our pitchers, just because of all of them get hurt always.
Yeah,
injuries a serious problem. But stepping over to college baseball, I think it was maybe Monday or maybe Sunday night. I'm not 100% sure. I don't remember exactly the day this happened, but Georgia and Tennessee were playing, and Georgia was up by 1 in the bottom of the 9th inning, and they had a runner up at the plate, 2 outs. Tennessee did. Hits a bomb back to the fence, and the Georgia outfielder robs a home run. And when I tell you, they celebrated like they won the World Baseball Classic. They were acting like they were Team Venezuela. It was crazy.
That's awesome.
I mean, it's just there's something about college baseball that's just it's so much more joyous than MLB.
It's loud.
It really is
loud. A lot of people don't realize, if you're sitting around high school baseball, depending on the teams, can be, it can be boisterous. If you go to a softball game, all they do is chirp.
Yeah.
But in college baseball, they do the same thing.
Oh yeah.
It's a lot of chirping and I mean, it's a pretty crazy atmosphere.
Yeah. I mean, it just reminds you, like, I want to know, because it's been a talking point for the past couple weeks now, how like Team USA is basically boring because every other team they celebrate a single. You ground out the first baseman's like fist pumping and pointing up Jesus every time he fields it. Like it's crazy how much like they just love baseball. They love winning. And it's so great to see because that's how it is in high school and college. Like I remember when I played high school baseball, shoot, I wasn't on a good team. When we won, we celebrated when we won. It was like, I mean, I'm not saying we won like 1 game a year. Yeah, we were winning like 7 games a year, which isn't great, but it's enough that you still know how to win.
Mm-hmm.
But you're still celebrating because it's like there's just something that gets lost, I feel like, through the minor leagues and up into the major leagues. Like it's the kids' game at the end of the day.
I think when you watch, I mean, now college, they'll play 50, 60 games a year, but the major leagues, I mean, I think they're happy, but you don't see the boisterous excitement until you get playoffs or stuff like that. It's a thing of, especially when you look at the World Baseball Classic and you look at the Caribbean Series, World Series and stuff like that. I mean, those people are going nuts. Yeah. Not just the players, the fans.
No, I mean, you got pitchers, they'll get a save and they'll climb half the fence up and start celebrating. Mm-hmm. Like it's crazy. And that's, I mean, you even look back on it, I feel like it's almost like a thing recently, like we're getting more into accepting celebrations from players. I feel like the more international players that come into MLB, the more it happens. But then even like you look at it, I feel like when I was growing up, I always saw Adam Jones. Adam Jones, he looked like he was a man that loved playing baseball every single day. And like he looked like, well, he never took it for granted. You could tell he was having fun out there. I just feel like there almost needs to be more of that. Like I understand it's these people jobs, but like,
I think it was the Orioles, not last year, but the year before. They did the splash zone,
Yeah.
they did the thing, and I would even say the year before that, the young clubhouse and stuff. They had fun,
Oh yeah.
and
Yeah.
the ball clubs that win, they look like they're having fun.
Absolutely.
And
Unless you're
when
the
you,
Yankees, even when they win,
well,
they look like they hate
yeah, they don't look like they're having fun.
it. No, they all look miserable.
Yeah,
Yeah, they only have fun if they win 135 games, which no one's ever going to do. So they'll never have fun.
exactly.
But like, it's just there is just something about college baseball. I know I go to a D3 university, Susquehanna University. Our baseball team, they're having an okay season, but we have a radio station on campus, and I was calling play-by-play for their game this past Sunday. And it's just college baseball provides so much unique stuff. They lost 23-22, gave up 10 runs in the 9th inning. You don't see that anywhere.
No, you don't see that very much.
Like, it was crazy. I've never seen a team be so defeated. The opposing team, Wilkes, they were so defeated going in the 9th inning, and then they ended up winning and stuff. It was electric. Like, I'm sitting here. Obviously, I wanted our guys to win, but you gotta feel kind of good for them. Like, they're gonna be telling their grandkids about this game.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Trust me, it was a 5-hour game.
Yeah.
Game. It was crazy. Look, moving on. Some young guys that hopefully are going to be having some fun in the spring breakout games. They start up later this week. I believe actually the first games may start on Thursday, but the Orioles play Friday against the Red Sox. I know I'm excited to watch some of the prospects. Nate George is really exciting. Saw him a couple times in person last year. He's climbing up the rankings. It's a cool experience to see all the prospects get to play each other.
I think it's always neat when you can get those guys out there and get to see what the future might look like.
Yeah. And Alonso, our new guy, Pete Alonso, he has made headlines, I guess. It's interesting that this made headlines, but he bought a sauna for the clubhouse. And people seem unhappy about it. Some people do. So like, why's he got to buy this? Why can't the clubhouse get it? I mean, I know the Orioles just like redid their entire Sarasota facilities. It's all brand new now. Literally all of it. Like, I'm sure they got some pretty nice stuff down here. And I'd have to imagine that not everybody needs a sauna. And this is something that Pete Alonso, who's now $100 millionaire, says, I have the money to afford this luxury.
Yeah. I don't blame him. If you got the money to do it, do it.
Well, yeah, I just don't know. It's kind of interesting that people are getting upset about it. I think it's fine. It's
not a big deal.
But talk about luxury. We got some new foods coming to Camden Yards. Some of these I'm excited about. Sadly, I'll never buy them because I'm cheap. And there's just I'm not going to buy a $20 item at an Orioles game. It's not worth it to me, in my opinion. But they're cool to have for the people that do want to eat them. They have new crab smash tacos, which it's supposed to be a play on like birria tacos with like a somewhat crunchy shell. It's got they call it a crab consomme. So like some like au jus gravy that you could dip it in. It's basically just like a smushed crab cake inside a tortilla. So it's going to be good, I'm sure.
Yeah. So
it'll 100%. I mean, all of this will sell. Now, this next one, I don't know. So I'm a big Scrapple guy from Delaware. I mean, right down the road. Grew up going to the Apple Scrapple Festival. It's in my blood. And I really love Scrapple now. I don't know how I feel about Scrapple on a burger. So they have the big Scrap Burger. It's a double smashed cheeseburger, like pickles and onions, and then a giant brick of Scrapple on it.
Yeah, I listen. I can eat a lot of stuff on a burger, and Scrapple on a burger. I could probably eat that too. I don't know if I would do that.
No, that's one of those things that you try at home when you got some like leftover Scrapple in the fridge and you also have a leftover burger or something.
Yeah.
That's not, I just don't know if I want to spend, because like, look, ballpark prices, that's going to be $25.
Oh yeah.
And there's plenty more things I'd rather spend $25 on, even at an Orioles game, than that.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
There's also one more thing, is the Be More Yak is what it's called. And it's basically some noodles with shrimp, onions, and hot dogs.
No, thank you.
And my only complaint with this is that it's got like noodles and some like soy sauce teriyaki thing on it. I don't know what udon noodles really are. I'm sure that part may be fine. I don't know. It just depends if you're noodles. My thing is, I'm sure I saw a picture of it. The shrimp did look really good. It's like some grilled shrimp on it. Sure, that'd be great. I don't know how I feel about shrimp and hot dogs.
Listen, when you go to a game, you get a hot dog,
Mm-hmm.
you get some popcorn, and you get a soda. That's all you need.
Yeah, you
The
don't
rest of this stuff, no.
no. Now, but yet again, it's what you said about the tacos. It'll sell
It'll sell.
because people will go. I don't understand. Like, so just take these three things. If you go to one game and you were to buy all three of them, you could afford to go to 2 more games with that money.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, if you say you're getting a $35 seats,
Yeah.
and you take the parking and everything, but then you go there and you buy those items at say $16 to $20 a piece. That's $60 to $70 depending on what you're getting.
Yeah. And
that's crazy.
And I just know right now, if I'm planning on spending $60 on food, I'm going to like they got in Millsboro, Delaware, a new steakhouse, Brazilian steakhouse with unlimited. It's all the unlimited meats. I'm going there.
Sure.
That's like $50. I'll go there instead of going to the Orioles game to get some crab tacos and a burger with scrapple.
You can watch the game on TV.
Exactly. Yeah, I'll go to the Little League.
Yeah.
But we'll get back into some more sports things separated from food. March Madness it's March, obviously. March Madness is happening. I know they've already had some games, it's like the first 4 in or whatever they call it games. They've had that happen. I just filled out my bracket today. Who do you think's going to win, Greg?
Duke's injured, so I don't know if they get there. They're in a tough bracket.
Yeah.
I kind of like Florida.
Okay. I think I had UConn and Gonzaga, if I remember, in the championship, and I had UConn winning.
Really?
Yeah,
I mean, UConn plays defense, so.
Yeah, that's what I was looking. I had Duke, I think, winning 1 or 2 games and then getting knocked out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they're going to make it far. I will say also, like, my problem with Florida, they're in the same part of the I think they're in the same part of the bracket as UNC, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And I rode with UNC up till the Final Four. I wasn't going to be unrealistic. I know they weren't making it. They weren't making it past like UConn or anything like that, but I rode with them for a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then I also saw some things. So I'm sure everyone listening has seen an ad at some point for sports betting, and one way or another, including Emmanuel Classe. He's also seen some of them. But with that, so Kalshi is one of the new up and coming, I guess, sports betting place apps.
You can bet on everything with them.
Well, they're trying. It's a little sneaky and, in my opinion, unethical. They're running a competition that you can win $1 billion if you get a perfect bracket. And for anyone listening, you're probably thinking to yourself, have I ever heard of anyone getting perfect bracket? No, you haven't, because it's never happened before. No one's ever had a perfect bracket before. And so no one's ever going to win the $1 billion. But you know what the trick is that they do with this? As they get you to sign up and create a Kalshi account. And so a week after March Madness is over, they're going to send you, save $5 on this betting. And they're just trying to get you hooked. That's all it is. It's all evil, manipulative stuff. It's ridiculous. Sports betting, it's gonna come out. Sports betting is this generation's cigarettes.
Well, I mean, the big thing about sports betting, it's always been around. It used to be closet. Now it's legal, and so it's out there for everything. It's just amazing that you look at baseball, basketball, pro and college. The amount of arrests and people charged with fixing games has been ridiculous. Crazy.
Well, I mean, you got active NBA players getting arrested by the FBI because of stuff like that. Like, it's ridiculous.
I mean, you had a head coach.
Yeah, I mean, you have head coach and then just remember that right after ESPN runs the segment talking about that, they're going to run 3 FanDuel ads.
Exactly.
It's ridiculous. It's the most hypocritical stuff ever. It's just anything to make a quick buck.
Listen, the best part of it is if you go to an Orioles game and what is the helmet, the ball under the helmet and stuff. Who's that sponsored by? Maryland Lottery. Yeah. But if you then right at the end of it, they say, if you have a gambling addiction, please see. If I got a gambling addiction, I'm going to bet on this first before I go see somebody. But, That's great.
And I mean, speaking of Maryland Lottery, I do like that they do the $500 for every home run hit thing.
Yes, they do.
Game. I always thought that was funny. I was like, I want to know what the odds of you, because you have to lose on the lottery ticket that you buy first and then get put in a random draw. Yeah, I mean, that's what it's the consolation prize.
Yeah.
It's the 1 in 1 million that gets picked for it.
Exactly.
But moving on, let's talk about some World Baseball Classic stuff. That is the hottest topic right now in baseball. And I mean, for a good reason. It was a very exciting tournament. I enjoyed watching all the games that I got to watch. Didn't get to watch as much as I wanted to just because time zone stuff. Didn't really watch anything in the pool that Japan and Czech and Australia was in and stuff.
Yeah.
But it was still, it was cool watching the highlights of the game. I'm a big fan of Andres Satoria, I believe is how you say his name, the Czechia pitcher that is an electrician and threw like 8 innings scoreless in the Classic. That was awesome.
That's a cool story. Struck out Otani.
Shoot, I mean, I would never between him and the 17-year-old from Georgia that played for Brazil that got Aaron out. Those are my highlights of the whole tournament. I don't care that Venezuela winning, that's good for them and stuff. USA losing, that all sucks, and we'll talk about it. But those are just some cool moments for baseball.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the one thing about having a true international tournament and true Italian or Brazilian or wherever players playing for you that aren't professionals.
Yeah.
I think it's really neat to hear their stories. I mean, you had the farmer in Canada that was still pitching for Canada. So those are neat stories. These aren't major leaguers. They're obviously that Georgia pitcher, the high school kid. He's good.
Yeah. I did just see a clip of him today. He just played his first high school game since the Classic, and he threw 6 innings perfect.
Yeah. I mean, that's those are neat stories.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just at the end of the day, though, the U.S. lost. That's what everyone's going to talk about, and that's what we're going to talk about. Mm-hmm. It's just crazy. We came into the tournament saying that they were a super team. The best team ever assembled. In my head, people were comparing them. They were the 96 dream team. They were going to go in if you're going to do Mount Rushmore of U.S. teams, it's going to go the Miracle on Ice 96 dream team and then this year's baseball team. And I mean, it was just an ugly tournament all around for them. I mean, starting off against Italy, that was awful. That was really bad, really hard to watch.
Yeah, I've heard, and you talked about, it was the greatest team ever assembled. And I look at it there was a lot of holes in this team. And not that they didn't have talent. That wasn't the issue. There was definitely holes. I thought the bullpen, there was definitely holes.
Yeah.
As far as that goes. But the Italy game was they thought they had won. They thought it was over. They were going to be the number 1 seed. And Italy came in there and just smacked them in the face.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, you would have hoped that they would have been able to really wake up after that, but it didn't really change that much. I mean, they went in against Dominican Republic and they won, but I don't even know if you can really credit yourself to that. Is your bullpen was fully rested, and that really is what between your bullpen and then Paul Skeens being an amazing pitcher. Yeah. That's really all that won the game for you. And then it's just the bats were so bad against Dominican Republic, bad against Venezuela, bad against Italy, and at least you could look at it that the offense, they stunk against Dominican Republic and Venezuela. Well, both of their teams, their pitching staffs were major league pitchers. Say Venezuela, Danny Valencia, he's a legit reliever.
Yeah, he's closer for the club.
I mean, yeah, he's an elite reliever. Yeah. And same with the Dominican Republic and even Eduardo Rodriguez on Venezuela. They're good major league pitchers. You got shut down by Italy. It was Michael Lorenzen who had a 15 ERA last year. Yeah. He's on a minor league deal with the Rockies.
Yeah, that did shock me. I mean, I credit Italy winning that game a lot to the fact that I think the starter was in over his head. McLean,
McLean,
yeah.
I think,
I think he was a little bit in over his head in that game.
yeah,
He did look better in the championship game.
definitely.
But I mean, Italy came out and just said, we're swinging and we're just cracking the ball.
And they made sure. I want to know how many espresso shots they went through.
A lot.
My only thing with it's like I understand it's like Italians, coffee, espresso, all that stuff. It's got to be so unpleasant to drink a hot shot of espresso right after running the bases. But they enjoyed it. It seemed like
They enjoyed it. That's for sure.
they definitely were making a lot of it.
The funny thing, what was it? 23 of their players were American born.
Yeah, half their team was from New Jersey.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
That's the whole I almost wish there was a way. Like at the same time, I wish there was a way to get it more stricter on like who could play for your team. But then you also look at it half the time, like if you were to take away all the Americans, like I don't even know how you can really make it so that there's a way to do it right. To say, well, like to actually do the genealogy, because like, say, look at Great Britain. They had Trace Thompson on their team. I know he's not a major leaguer right now; he's in the minor leagues. But I mean, his brother Clay Thompson, he's an American.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, honestly, if you took away the loopholes for people to play for other countries, you're looking at you would have Japan, Korea, America, and then your Dominican, your Puerto Rico, your Venezuela, and your Mexico, and they could all field teams.
Yeah,
with just those. Yeah. But your other ones would not field teams at all.
I think Canada would relatively stay the same.
Canada would be close.
Yeah, but it's like, and I think honestly, Australia had a decent team that was mostly their players, but it's the Italy's and some of your more mid-level teams. That they wouldn't be able to field a team.
No.
But then at the same time, not fielding a team like that gives you an opportunity like the Czech Republic having with an electrician coming out to pitch. Like
that's part of I think some of the fun of the World Baseball Classic. I mean, when you think about it, it's a neat tournament at the worst time of the year.
Yeah,
for pitchers anyway, and for hitters. I mean, because they've not seen a ton of pitching. There's better times they could run it make the All-Star break longer, run it in the middle of the All-Star break. Yeah. But but it serves its purpose of
absolutely
getting people interested in the game.
Yeah, I mean, I think like Gunnar Henderson. Obviously, we know he did great for Team USA. I think he opened the eyes of millions of more people to who he is. Just because he's an Oriole. I mean, the Orioles, they're a mid-market team. They're not the Yankees. Everyone already knows. Everyone knows who Aaron Judge is. Everyone knows who Shohei Ohtani is. You're living under a rock if you don't. Like Jay, people that have no clue anything about sports have heard the name Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah.
But you might not know Gunnar Henderson. You might not know Roman Anthony. You might not know Bryce Terang. Yeah. And like it's and I'm saying American people, but like think of how many people now know who Palencia is.
Yeah.
Know what? Yeah. Like if you were to ask even the average baseball fan, name two people on Team Venezuela. Sure, you got Acuna and maybe like Arias or something like that, but you don't know too many people. Like Eugenio Suarez, yeah, you know him, but how many more people now know of Ezequiel Tovar? Well, it's a great example.
Oh, it is. My big thing is how many people know of Salvador Perez now. I just want to tell you, he last night pulled on a clinic of how to shut down major league hitters.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now the pitchers had to hit their spots.
Yeah,
but I mean, he called in, he called out, he called up, he called down. There was nothing consistent. The boys were spinning last night.
Yeah, no, it was impressive. I heard people on Venezuela side go and build a statue for him.
I mean, he did a really good job.
Yeah, I mean, he's their captain for a reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if there's really anything else that we could say that's not just going to be beating the dead horse about Team USA. I kept on seeing jokes about Mark DeRosa saying in the clubhouse afterwards, "It's all right, boys. We'll get them tomorrow. Best of 5 series.
Yeah,
we'll get them game 2." Yeah. But America didn't care. That's ultimately the conclusion. Like not America. I think too many of the players. You had Bryce Harper the whole tournament coming in and saying that, yeah, this is cool, but it's not the Olympics. Whereas I think his defense, I understand his standpoint, but at the same time, this is this is like the World Cup for baseball.
I think he is 100% right.
Yeah,
it's not the
I do agree.
Olympics, but I think also anytime you have a chance to put on your country's jersey, represent your country, you want to win. And not just, it's not the Olympics. I mean, the one thing that DeRosa had to deal with that, it's been put out there and stuff is you had to deal with a lot of different personalities, which every major league manager has to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
But you had to deal with every major league team that your players came from.
Yeah.
Every general manager. Harper didn't want to sit out. He was upset he sat out the Italy game.
Mm-hmm.
He said he needed more swings. I don't know how many more swings you get. Come on, there's extra batting practice and everything.
He really wanted to strike out a few more times.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I just thought it came down. I thought it was a great moment, like you talked about Gunnar Henderson, his coming out party, Bryce Terang. I thought that was, from two markets that don't get seen a lot. I mean, those guys did great. That type of thing. And I thought the lack of, to me, Tarek Skubal not pitching.
Yeah.
I mean, the championship game was his game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you're looking for a spot to pitch, you want to show that you're that $50 million pitcher, have at it.
Yeah.
And, I don't know whose decision it was, but that was disappointing.
I don't know how, if you're him, and like, I understand I don't say he made the right decision, but I understand the decision that he made.
I do too.
And I just can't imagine. It had to be Scott Boras, because if in my opinion, at least, if the Tigers are the one that are saying hard, we do not want you to pitch this, you will not pitch opening day. In the back of my mind is the same team that offered me like $15 million left in arbitration than what I ultimately got and deserved. They didn't care enough about me then, so why should I care about them right now? And that would have been at least my thought process. I'm going to be honest, him starting opening day or not, it doesn't affect the millions of dollars that he's going to get at the end of the year.
No. They offered him what, $19 million?
Yeah.
And he ended up getting what, $33 million?
33, 32, something like that. Yeah.
I mean, come on, and they couldn't negotiate that out. So
no, I mean, I'm going to be honest. I think they're lucky that they only had to pay him that much.
I agree with you.
30, like with the way that baseball is, just with the markets, how expensive everything is, a 2-time back-to-back Cy Young Award winner going for a 3-peat right now for $39. I'd take that heartbeat.
Exactly.
I tell you right now, I think even the Rockies would take like 29 of the 30 teams other than Tigers. I think they'd all be very happy to pay him that much money.
Yeah. I mean, he is the best in the business.
Yeah.
I mean, him, Paul Skeens, that right now that's
1-2. Yeah.
Yeah.
But moving on, we'll stop talking about the international baseball. I feel like everyone's probably got they've heard enough about the WBC. That's all that's been going on. I mean, we always love spring training, but we all hate spring training at the same time because it's not the regular season. But moving towards the regular season, we both went over. You took care of the lineup. I did the pitching staff of who we think. We split it up 13 pitchers, 13 hitters, who we feel like is going to make the opening day roster. I'm going to let you go ahead and give your 13 guys and your reasons behind them. And you're going to really have to explain to everybody why you think Gunnar Henderson's starting in Double-A this year. Well, you're going to bench him, though. You got to bench him for every other game, right?
Yeah. That's the only thing you can figure out.
He can only be brought in the 9th inning to pinch hit.
Exactly. So we set it up with 13 hitters, 13 pitchers. I think it was fairly obvious, roughly your top 10, 11 guys, and I got to those pretty quick. I'll run through those. You got Pete Alonso at first. I'll go around the diamond. So we'll go with Pete Alonso, Ryan Mountcastle, it's two first basemen. Blaze Alexander, they traded for him. He's going to make the team. Gunnar Henderson, at short, Colby Mayo at third, and then doing your catching is Adley Rushman and Samuel Basilio. In the outfield, I had Tyler O'Neill, Colton Cowser, Taylor Ward, and Dylan Beavers.
Mm-hmm.
So that's your 11 straight up. 2 spots left. These were a little interesting because if you go off of spring training, it would be, I think it's Heston Kjerstad easily if you're taking another outfielder. But, you know, reading everything and seeing everything, it's between him and Tavares. And everything I'm reading is Kjerstad's probably not going to make the team. You're going to see Tavares make the team, and, you know, so that gives you 12. He's a defensive player, not any speed off the bench.
Yeah.
So that gives you 12, and then the next one, you really need another backup in the infield. So, you know, Ramos is having a great spring. He's playing a lot. And you have Jeremiah Jackson. I have Jackson making the team because of last year. His second half of the season last year, once he was playing, he actually did really well. He gives you options. He can play infield. He can play outfield. So he does give you flexibility, which really this team doesn't have a ton of. I mean, it's not like they have, Gunnar can play anywhere. Blaze Alexander can play anywhere, but Colby Mayo is a first baseman or a third baseman. It's not like when they have Westberg or Holiday who can all move around the whole infield, or you probably even go outfield. So right now, I those 11, and I would say Tavares and Jeremiah Jackson are your 13. The only other question I had was Sam Huff as backup catcher, because I wasn't sure if the Orioles were going to, you know, I know Basilio DH catch, Rushman catch, and DH, but I didn't know if they just wanted a defensive catcher.
Yeah.
Period. But there's really not a spot there. Not if you're going to keep 5 outfielders. So, you know, that really limits what you can do there. But I think the big question is going to be, or the more interesting question, isn't opening day roster. It's when Holiday come back, and if Westberg comes back, who goes down? Because then I think it's based off of how people are doing at the time. Mayo, Mountcastle, Tyler O'Neill even. I think there's questions there. I think the biggest question I have right now looking at those 13 is, where is Dylan Beavers getting enough at-bats?
Yeah. I think everything you said is correct. I think, like you said, there's the 10 or 11 guys, they're locks. And I think there's so many issues that come up with any person that you pick to fill those other 2 spots. And it's to the point that Kjerstad, he's forcing himself into the lineup. I mean, he's batting almost 500, I think. Like, it's ridiculous how good of a spring he's doing. There's no room for him, and it's unfortunate because it's really it's Tyler O'Neill is the block there. And I just think the Orioles are going to have to be really realistic this year with a lot of guys. And if there are people that are not doing good, like I'd have to imagine that 3 or 4 weeks into the season, if Basilio is not doing good, you send him back down.
I think like,
yeah.
You have to me, there's your big question marks are, you know, they've really invested in Taylor Ward, Tyler O'Neill are 2 blocks right now for Dylan Beavers. And you got Colton Cowser. I mean, if he's struggling, you got to make the move to Beavers. Yeah. I think Beavers can be a great pro. I really loved him last year. And to be honest, I think Jackson has a future. I mean, the second half of the season, he looked
really good.
He was one of the bright spots for the Orioles.
Yeah, he really was.
You know, so I think, you know, he could definitely force his way into the lineup somewhere. It's going to be interesting to see who goes where. If they start off fast with those people, you won't hear anything. If they struggle like they did last year, I think you could see a lot of movement quick.
Definitely. No, I'd have to imagine to start the year there's going to be some sort of platoon between O'Neill and Beavers. And I think the real problem here is that Beavers isn't trusted enough as a center fielder. I think he could play center field, but I don't know where we stand on his defense. And at the same time, like we say, Ward, I think I almost feel like even though he is blocking some of our young guys, I feel like he's going to be steady enough because the past 3 or so years, he's been consistent enough that we kind of know what we're going to get from him. I think he's going to provide enough value that we're not going to feel bad about starting him over anyone else.
Yeah.
But it just puts that much more pressure on Tyler O'Neill. And we didn't expect Kjerstad. We didn't know what to expect out of Kjerstad coming into spring. No one could have imagined he was going to do this good.
I mean, it's a good problem to have.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And it just, I feel like we've been coming back to the same thing now for almost 2 seasons. Ryan Mountcastle needs to go somewhere. Like it's almost, I said that I feel like at the beginning of last season, at the beginning of the season before. Last year was because of Ryan O'Hearn, and we knew we had Kjerstad. We knew we had Mayo. But, I mean, just in a hypothetical world, say Mountcastle's out of the equation. Pete Alonso's playing anywhere from 155 to 160.
Yeah.
And 120 to 130 of those are coming at first base with 20 or 30 at DH. I say you give those other 20 or 30 games, that's Mayo's position. Mayo's your backup first baseman when Alonso's not. And then you can try to do some sort of Mayo-Basayo mix at DH. I think you can mix and match between those two. That'll work out well. And then it's almost like if you were just to get rid of O'Neill and Mountcastle, I feel like the team's problems do open up. Until Westbrook comes back and Holland comes back.
I think that's where you make a really good point, because Mountcastle to me is a consistent pro.
Yeah.
When he's healthy,
he's good.
He's 275, 265. He's going to hit home runs. He's a doubles machine when he's healthy.
And I think he's really good in the clubhouse too.
Yeah. But where's he going to get regular swings? He's just not. I think that hurts. You're paying a guy, I think it's like $7 million almost this year. And what are you using him? I mean, if Lonzo was to go down, okay, yeah, he's first baseman. He's a good defensive first baseman. But right now, they're at a position where I'm like you. Mountcastle and O'Neill are kind of, I think, holding up flexibility of the team. But
yeah, I do agree. And I mean, looking at Ramos, like I know you were talking about him, he could be another good option. He'll be up at some point.
I mean, he was killing it.
Him and Luis Vasquez, they'll both be in the minor leagues. They'll be up at some point to fill in every once in a while.
Yeah.
I really like Jeremiah Jackson. He can play anywhere. So versatile. And then I'm even looking at Weston Wilson, who, if really versatility is what they want, he's almost someone that they could rely on because he can play first base, he can play second base, he can play third base, and he can play corner outfield. He's basically the same as Jackson that kind of play most of the infield spots and outfield. And it helps. We're lacking a center fielder. That's really the problem.
I totally agree. I think that's where I would keep an eye on Bradfield this year.
If he clicks in the minors.
If he hits at all, his defense and his speed are already major league level.
Mm-hmm.
If he hits at all, he's your center fielder. Then you have to decide the other positions.
And and then this is why I'm glad I'm not a GM, because he comes up and that just makes everything even more complicated.
It does.
And that's why I'm very glad I'm not a general manager, because I couldn't make these decisions. And it's going to benefit nobody to have 4 guys trying to split up at bats between 2 positions. It hurts all of them.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It's tough because as soon as we trade Mountcastle, Alonso's going to get hurt.
Guaranteed.
And as soon as we say move Cowser off of center field or we trade O'Neill, Beavers gets hurt. Like that's going to happen. It's just unfortunate. We've gotten to the point with some of our younger guys. They're better than the older guys, but the older guys don't have any options left and aren't able to be put anywhere else. So something's going to have to be done to them.
That's been the biggest issue the Orioles have had the last 4 years.
Yeah.
Is they bring in older guys, and the young guys think they're ready, and then there's no spot for them, or there is a spot for them, but not consistent at bats.
Yeah.
And you've seen it the last 4 years. The last 2 years, they said, screw it. We're going to throw the young guys in there. We're going to give them at bats. Then they get hurt. So it's kind of a no-win situation, and it sucked. I mean, really. But this year, I think Dylan Beavers, to me, is the one that could be hurt or hindered the most.
Yeah.
Because I really liked him last year. I did.
I'm almost starting to feel like he has potential to be the second best, I guess, not second, probably like third best player on the team. Yeah. I don't think he's going to be better. I don't think he's going to be better than Gunnar Henderson. And I'm not going to try to say he's better than Pete Alonso, but I think he has potential to be that next guy.
I agree with you.
And I mean, this is the thought that just popped into my head. We're talking about all these issues, and say Bazzio starts off the season red hot, and say Adley keeps on like he was last year and the year before, batting 200, not doing well. How long of a leash does Adley have? I think he still has options left. Could it be a realistic thing to see Adley Rutschman moved to either to the minor leagues or to a different team? It's a lot to trust Bazzio in his first year to catch full time.
Oh, I
don't know if I trust him to do that because his defense is his biggest worry. But I mean, if Adley's to the point that he's hindering the team,
you definitely could see Adley Rutschman move. First of all, his contract's coming up.
Yeah,
I think that's the biggest thing. And if you look at defensive matrix, he's actually went down the last 3 years.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't surprise me in the least if he struggled and Basilio was just mashing. You start to see, I mean, you would bring up a true backup catcher.
Yeah.
But they end up moving Rutschman at some point.
Yeah. Even, I think really the sign would be when Bazzio starts catching 5 days of the week and Adley's only catching 2 or 3. I think that's when you start to see it because that would be the slow progression trying to get him up to the workhorse behind the dish.
Yeah.
It's just, it's a lot of expectation on a 21 or 22-year-old, however old he is. But I think we all know his bat's there. And you need that bat. Like, you want that bat in lineup every day, and it's just not feasible to do that now.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I mean, obviously, a lot of question marks, but the one good thing is that we can take away from this conversation is these are good problems to have. Yeah. All of the players we're talking about are really good. Like, I think you could take away some of the players that we're talking about. We're still in a good spot. But we just have good players fighting with other good players for spots.
And that's how you develop a good team.
Yeah.
So, absolutely. I mean, there's nothing to...
Yeah. Look at the Dodgers. They had their AAA pitching staff for a few years was like a legit major league pitching staff, and they just ended up having to trade guys away because they didn't have room for them.
Yeah. Well, they did smart things. When they traded guys away, they brought in guys who were ready at the major league level right away. So.
Yeah. I mean, that's how you run a club.
Yeah.
But
they do.
Yeah. Let's move on to pitching, and I'll go over how I think the roster is going to shape out. So I know this was a while ago, probably 30 minutes ago or something like that. We were talking about Kyle Bradish, Trevor Rogers, and how we thought Bradish was probably going to be on the innings limit. And I believe that, and some of the other factors that go into this roster and rotation specifically, I believe we'll have a 6-man roster, a 6-man rotation to start the season. I think you're going to have Trevor Rogers, obviously, he's your number 1, and then Bradish 2. And then I just have 3, 4, 5, 6 here of these guys. It really, I don't think order necessarily matters. But Shane Bass, Chris Bassett, Zach Eflin, D. Kramer. I would say the problem is you just traded for Bass. He's going to start. You just signed Bassett. You just re-signed Eflin. They're going to start because you just signed them. They're not going to get moved to the bullpen. And Kramer, I think he's valuable enough to start. And you have 6 starters. I mean, that's not a bad problem. This isn't a top 3 rotation in baseball, but it's not a bottom 15. you're middle of the pack, I think, with this.
Yeah.
And having the 6 men, I think, help balance it out enough that Bradish might not get hurt. It might not put too much of a load on Rodgers. I'm looking at the schedule too, and just trying to look ahead. If you look at the end of March when we start, we have game, then off day, and then we have 5 games in a row, and then another off day before moving into a full week of actual baseball. I don't know, because I don't know how the options work out for some of the starters. It wouldn't fully surprise me if we see one of those 6 not make the opening day roster and just sit in AAA to get a start and then come back whenever that starts necessary, and maybe do like a 5-man rotation for the first 5 games and then shift into a 6-man once we're through some of the early off days. I could understand why they would do that. It'd be interesting to see the workaround of how they do it, just to try to get an extra arm in the bullpen, because the one problem that the Orioles have is they have no lefties. They really don't. It's Trevor Rogers is the only lefty in the rotation, and the way I have it out, we're going to have 2 lefties in the bullpen, which I don't like. I'd prefer to have at least one more lefty somewhere in there, but it's where we are. And for the 7 in our bullpen, there's 5 locks. Ryan Helsley is your closer. Tyler Wells is going to be in the bullpen. Keegan Aiken, who is your one lefty, he's in there no matter what. Yennier Cano is going to be in there, and Andrew Kittredge is in there. Those are your 5 locks. And then there's 2 other guys that I have in here. And the 2 that I think it's going to be is I think it's going to be Rico Garcia and Grant Wolfram. Now, Rico Garcia he threw almost 2 innings in the World Baseball Classic for Puerto Rico, didn't give up a run. And he's pitched, I think, 5 times in spring, hasn't given up a run. Grant Wolfram pitched in spring like 5 or 6 innings, haven't given up a run either. They've been lights out in spring, and they were decent last year. I think they'll start. But some guys that could possibly make it would be Dietrich Enns. He would be that next lefty, I think, if they wanted to get another lefty in there. Maybe for some reason, instead of Rico Garcia, put him in there. I could see that. And then there's Jose Espada, Jackson Cower, Yaramil Geraldo, and Albert Suarez. Albert Suarez is going to be very valuable in AAA because he's going to come up whenever a starter gets hurt. It's just, we're in a tough spot because of some of the moves that we made in the offseason. We don't have much flexibility out of the rotation.
I think the 13 you picked are probably right. Kittredge, I don't think is going to start the season on time. I think he's hurt.
Yeah, that's possible.
So you're already bringing somebody different in at that point. It could be a lefty.
I would almost imagine that they'd probably do a lefty. I don't know. It just, I guess it's however the new manager wants to construct, maybe talking with Elias, how they want to construct it. If they want 3 lefties, it's just, we're so righty heavy. Our whole pitching staff.
Well, and I think the other big question mark is Kramer.
Yeah.
Is he used the first week and a half as a long relief guy and then slotted in occasional starts? Because I can see him taking Suarez's kind of role.
Absolutely.
And that Suarez had a few years ago. He is valuable because you know what you're going to get when he goes to pitch. I mean, whether you like it or not, and we have different opinions, but he's pretty consistent.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I kind of like Povich. I love Povich. Yeah. I think Povich could be really good. He probably needs more control.
Definitely. Yeah.
But
his
like Povich.
His fastball is too slow for the control he has right now.
Exactly.
That's really his problem. When you throw a 90-mile-an-hour fastball, you have to be able to locate it.
Yes, and that's where he ends up getting hit or walks.
Yeah, and I know he got optioned down to the AAA camp last week, I believe it was.
Mm-hmm.
So he'll definitely start the season in the minor leagues. And it's just one of those things between Povich and, even Chase McDermott. I know they've been working him more as a reliever. And we have a couple of the prospects that I really like as relievers, especially. It's just, we're stuck. The one, I don't know if it's positive or not. I don't know how to say. It's almost kind of the same situation with the offense. But, like, take a Yennier Cano. He has no options left. You either put him on waivers or you keep him. And if he struggles, he could be gone, and that could clear up room for a guy to come up.
Cano could be gone. Yeah, Cano could be gone in the first
first
month,
absolutely.
or he could be lights out, and him and Wells are the best two setup men in baseball.
Yeah, absolutely. Like it's either coin toss.
I think that's where you're at with Cano. I think the Orioles. This is the first time the Orioles have went in. I think in the last 5 years, to the season, and they feel comfortable about their starting rotation now.
Yeah.
I mean, you got 5 guys who I think are legit starters. Now, the one question mark is Eflin. Is he going to be ready to start the season?
Yeah.
So Kramer could get that spot temporarily.
Definitely.
But when you take in those having to worry about 1 or 2 spots in their bullpen is probably the best situation they've been in.
Yeah.
In the last 3 years.
No, I'm going to be fully honest. This is the most confident I have been in our pitching staff since we've created this podcast. And when I say since we created this podcast, that was still when we weren't that great. So really, when I say that, this might be the most confident I felt about our pitching staff my entire life. Because even we look at our best team in my lifetime was 2014. It was not because of our pitching. It wasn't because of our pitching. I mean, Chris Tillman was a ace back then. He was good, but he wasn't Trevor Rogers or Kyle Bradish. No. It's just you look at it and we have a lot of good problems. That's really what.
I think this is probably the best pitching staff that I remember since they had who was it? David Wells.
Years ago.
Yeah, I mean, it was years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, this is probably at least consistent, I hope, for them. I was talking to, I think, Cody one day, and I said, everybody in those first 3 or 4 pitchers, even if Eflin's healthy, should go 6 to 7 innings. I mean, your first 3 should get you 7 innings.
Yeah, and that's like the one good thing with Baz is he's young enough. If he struggles, we can send him down to try to get him fixed up if something happens. But at the same time, he has potential. He could be just as good as Trevor Rogers. Like that's why I really, it's in my opinion, I know the whole Grayson Rodriguez Taylor Ward trade, felt like a long time ago, but it was a little odd and we still don't know. In my opinion, Shane Baz is like Grayson Rodriguez, but with a higher floor. Grayson Rodriguez always had that ace potential, but he blew up a lot of starts. I don't think we're going to see that quite from Baz.
I think when you look at both of those, first of all, I think the Rodriguez situation, there's more there than anybody has ever let on. But Rodriguez always was on the edge of being really good, or it could have been really bad.
Yeah.
You're looking for a guy that's just consistent. I hate to say consistent because consistent doesn't always mean good. But that goes out there, even if he's given up 3 runs through 6 innings. But you know what you're getting every time he steps on the mound. If you get a guy that if he can go out and make 30 starts, 35 starts, you won.
No,
I mean, that's a good thing.
Absolutely. Because, I mean, you have Rogers and Bradish. They're your 2 ace potential pitchers that have the stuff to be top 5 Cy Young votes. And then you have Bassett and if Eflin's healthy, that are going to go give you 5-6 innings every single start. And that's what that's a championship rotation right there. That is what it is. You have a really stacked top half, but you need the guys that get you in there every 5th day to last the 162 game season. And I think you have that.
Oh, yeah. And Bassett up to last year, I think he averaged almost 7 innings a start.
Yeah.
I mean, this is what you want. Now I also understand the Orioles' health has always been a big issue, but if they're healthy and they can maintain that health, no, I think they have a legit pitching rotation this year.
Yeah, and I even feel better about our depth than we did last year. I mean, we have Albert Suarez. We have 6 starters as it is, so if someone goes down, you fill in. You have Albert Suarez. You have Cade Povich. You have Chase McDermott. You have a couple more young guys.
Yes.
Whereas, like, last year, Albert Suarez was hurt, so we couldn't use him. You kind of relied on Povich, and then he filled in, and he was in the rotation the whole time.
Yeah.
You didn't have as many options.
No.
Whereas, like, really the only way, and God forbid this happens, knock on wood, right? The only way this rotation blows up is Rogers and Bradish both go down.
Oh,
Like,
I agree.
I think they can sustain losing 2 of the 6 or 2 of the 5 as long as it's not Rogers Brad. Because you do need that.
Yeah.
You need at
Because
least of them.
I think your offense is going to score a lot more this year.
Yeah.
I think you've got
At
a
least
lot more
it should.
potential. Yeah.
It should.
But if you were to lose Bradish again, I think you could sustain that.
Mhm.
1 or 2. I mean, Rogers a start here or there, but if Bassett ends up being your number 1,
Yeah, that's not good.
I mean, the year they made the playoffs, what Eflin was their starter in the playoffs,
Yeah.
and I mean, he's consistent. He usually keeps the ball down, gets you 5 innings, but man, you need that guy to go out and get you 7, and 2 runs and gives you a chance to win.
Yeah, I mean, you need 2 or 3 guys because that's even like our first year in the playoffs. We had Kyle Bradish came in for the first game against the Rangers and did good. We ended up losing that game, but still, it was a great game from him.
Mm-hmm.
And then you had Grayson Rodriguez and Dean Kramer.
Mm-hmm.
You should never have to be in a situation that Dean Kramer should love him to death. I know you don't, Adger. That's where we differ. But still, I'll agree with you. Dean Kramer should never start a pit playoff game.
He shouldn't be.
No.
He should not be. If you're rolling him out in the 3rd game, you got big.
You're not making it to the World Series.
No. Yeah.
No. But we'll see how it all rolls out. I mean, we got a week basically till we see how it all finalizes. Realistically, by next Tuesday, we'll probably know who's on and who's not. Yet again, I think we're both fairly confident in saying that we got at least 10 of our guys right.
Oh yeah, I would even say probably 11 at least on both sides.
Yeah, I think it's fairly close, and I think it could change in different ways, but I think we understand where it will go most likely. But I know we went a little long today, but there was a lot to talk about, a lot of roster stuff, and we'll be back here next week with one last episode before the season starts. It's gonna be really exciting. I'm just so happy that baseball's ready. I'm so happy to watch the Orioles every day and just get disappointed, I'm sure. That's how baseball goes. It's gonna be great though. We're starting to grind the 162 game season. I'm ready for it. I know we're gonna be back. We had been going every 2 weeks, but now we're gonna get back to every week episodes. So you'll be able to see more of me, more of Greg, more of Cody. It's just gonna be great.
And something for all the fans of the podcast to look out for next week. I would assume, I'm pretty sure, you're gonna have your preseason predictions of how the season's going to turn out this year.
Yeah, we'll probably throw out our final predictions probably for the AL East and how we feel the roster's going to be able to do and what our record will be. But you'll have to tune into that next week as we're getting ready for the season to start. Thank you guys so much. If you listened all the way to this point of the episode, make sure you like. If you're on YouTube, subscribe, comment. Go to all of our Facebooks, our Instagrams, TikTok, X. We're on everything. You'll find us. Spotify, Apple Podcasts.
Yep.
Go to our website. I've got some articles out there. Cody's been working hard on it. Go read some of that stuff. Keeps you up to date on all the day-to-day stuff that we don't talk about every time we're on here because we're not on every day. But it's a lot of cool stuff on there, so make sure you go check it out. Thank you guys so much for listening along. This has been another episode of the Utah Street Banner. See ya.
See you guys.